Hello folks, welcome back to Mass Effect and Black Templar. Let's get on the rest of the game. Alright, after the last video where I, took so long to beat that bloody Krogan, I'm hoping to not, have that kind of thing happen again, so let's hope that doesn't happen. But anyway, let's talk to the crew. See if any new stories come up. Excuse me.
Anything you need, Commander?
Let's look at your personal input.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
Is this an official evaluation, Commander? Or off the record?
Speak your mind.
Lenko, when it's just you and me, you can consider it off the record.
That's a generous attitude. Okay. I think there's something wrong with all this. Saren is looking for records on some kind of galactic extinction, but we can't get backup from the Council? Sorry, Commander. There's writing on the wall here, but someone isn't reading it.
The Council doesn't want to believe anything's wrong. I'd call it human nature, but...
I hear you. It just seems like a group that's been around as long as the Council should see this coming. Sorry if I got too informal. Protocol wasn't a big focus back in Bot.
Tell me about it.
Biotic acclimation and temperance didn't last past the airlock. To the kids they hauled in, it was brain camp. Sorry, hauled in is unkind. We were encouraged to commit to an evaluation of our abilities so an understanding of biotics could be compiled. There are worse results of accidental exposure to element zero in the womb. Beats the brain tumors some kids grew up with.
Okay, that's a bit dark there.
Seems like you beat the odds. How many didn't make it?
Out of 100, maybe 60 have no effect. 30 suffer adverse effects, little things like brain cancer.
Ouch.
The other 10 show enough ability to augment with implants. Not always permanent, though. Not like the cancer. Next thing you know, you're out on Jump Zero. How's a kid supposed to deal with that? A station at the edge of human space.
Jump Zero. Now, I think I've heard of this, or we might go to that kind of facility in one of the later games. Just want to make sure it is.
Jump Zero is Gagarin Station, right? What's it like?
Ah, yes, it's Gagarin Station.
Yeah, that's the official name. Biggest and farthest facility we had for decades. Right on the termination shock, the outer edge of the solar system. It's where they did all the Goose Chase FTL research before we caught on to using Mass Effect fields. It was a sterile research platform when I was there.
Okay, that doesn't sound nice.
There were other kids in the same boat, right? At least you weren't alone out there.
That's true. We did have a little circle that'd get together every night before lights out. We didn't have much to do, though. It was a research platform then, and Kinetics kept Jump Zero off the extranet to prevent leaks.
Then you must have had plenty of time to get to know each other.
Yeah, we'd sit around and bull every night after dinner, play cards or network games. There was this girl named Rana, who had a little circle grow up around her. She was from Turkey. Her family was very rich. But she was smart and charming as hell. Beautiful, but not stuck up about it. I think you'd have liked her.
Are we getting into your love life there, my friend?
Sounds like she was special to you.
She was. Maybe she felt the same. But things never felt together. Training, you know.
Yeah, I think there's more going on than you're letting on there, my friend.
Do you know of any intentional exposures for certain?
No one knows. Doesn't mean they didn't happen. As big as the exposures were, it was hard to track down accidentals. It was different then. No one knew the potential, so there wasn't a lot of regulation. Anything Kinetics did was gold. I'm not saying they intentionally detonated drives over our outposts, but in retrospect, they were damn quick on the scene.
Sounds like a big massive cover-up to me.
Jump Zero is a long way from home. What was it like?
The grand gateway to humanity looks a lot better in the vids. But that's my own baggage, Commander. No bearing on this.
Alenko, there's no regulation that says you can't be friends with your commander.
I appreciate that, Commander. I just don't want you to think that I'm a whiner. Besides, I've got my past squared away.
Whiner. Well, to be fair, mate, you've been through hell, so I wouldn't call you a whine-out, but you do have some. We do whine a little bit, but you do have some initial gripes. Now, is this? That's my quarters. Right. Which one should I go to next? The doctor. Doctor.
Yes,
Can we have a
Commander?
chat?
Is there something you need?
Let's have
How
a
did you end
personal
up
chat.
serving on an Alliance ship?
I enlisted right out of med.
Uh,
But humanity needs the Alliance if we want to keep expanding through the Traverse. And the Alliance always needs...
I should go.
Goodbye.
well, she's got nothing new. I think somebody's in here. Replenish med gel. But it's for Codex. I think she's in here, isn't she? Ah, there you are. Let's have a chat.
Commander, are you coming to check up on me?
You look much better. How are you feeling?
Dr. Chakwas assures me I am going to be fine. I was impressed with her knowledge of Asari physiology.
She's the best.
You're in good hands. Dr. Chakwas knows what she's doing.
I never properly thanked you for saving me from the Geth, Commander. If you hadn't shown up,
I'm just glad we got there in time.
so am I. I know you took a chance bringing me aboard this ship. I have seen the way your crew looks at me. They do not trust me. But I am not like Benezia. I will do whatever I can to help you stop Saren. I promise.
Don't worry, Liara. I trust you. I know you won't let me down.
It means a lot to hear you say that, Commander. Thank you.
Well, we know we got our loyalty, but I'm still a bit weary, but we'll keep an eye on her.
Tell me about yourself, Liara.
Me? I am afraid I am not very interesting, Commander. I spend most of my time on remote digs, unearthing mundane items buried in long-forgotten Prothean ruins.
Typical archaeologist.
Sounds dangerous. And lonely.
Sometimes I would run afoul of indigenous life forms or stumble across a small band of mercenaries or privateers, but I was always careful. Until the Geth followed me to Artemis Tau, I never found myself in any situation my biotics could not handle. As for the solitude, well, that is one aspect that most appealed to me. Sometimes I just need to get away from other people.
A lot of people get that. You know, they want to be alone, they want to do things on their own terms. But, why did you want to be on your own?
You don't like other people?
I suppose it comes from being a matriarch's daughter. People expected me to follow in Benezia's footsteps. They wanted me to become a leader of our people. Matriarchs guide their followers into the future. They seek the truth of what is yet to come. Maybe that's why I became so interested in the secrets of the past. It sounds so foolish when I say it out loud. It sounds like I became an archaeologist simply to spite Benezia.
Oh, I gotta say this. Well, did it make her mad?
I bet that pissed her off.
No. When I told her, she simply said, "A daughter must rebel against her mother, Liara. It is part of the natural order." But there was more to it than that. I felt drawn to the past. The Protheans were these wondrous, mysterious figures. I wanted to know everything about them. That is why I find you so fascinating. You were marked by the beacon on Eden Prime. You were touched by working Prothean technology.
I'm
Like you want
fascinated.
to dissect me in a lab somewhere.
What? No, I did not mean to insinuate. I never meant to offend you, Shepard. I only meant that you would be an interesting specimen for an in-depth study. No, that's even worse.
Calm down,
Relax.
Liara. I was only joking.
Joking? Oh, by the goddess, how could I be so dense? You must think I am a complete and utter fool.
Well, you're not far
Now
off.
you know why I prefer to spend my time in the field with data disks and computers. I always seem to say something embarrassing around other people. Please, just pretend this conversation never happened.
Well, I think we got you flustered.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species to discover the Citadel. We were instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of peaceful cooperation in galactic disputes. My people believe we are all part of a single galactic community. Each species contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek to understand other species, it seems few of them seek to understand us. The galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
Rumors?
Like what?
Most of the inaccuracies are centered around our mating rituals. My species is monogendered. Male and female have no real meaning for us. We still require a partner to reproduce. This second parent, however, may be of any species and any gender.
Okay. So what she's trying to tell us, folks, is they are, well, they're not asexual, but they are like, they don't have a male or a female, but they are very much, they need a partner to reproduce. So let's look into this more further.
I don't understand. Your species can mate with anyone?
Mating is not quite the proper term, not as you understand it. Physical contact may or may not be involved, but it is not an essential element of the union. The true connection is mental. Our physiology allows us to meld with other beings. We can touch the very depths of their minds. We explore the genetic memory of their species. We share the most basic elements of their individual and racial identities. We then pass these traits onto our daughters. It is how we learn to grow as a species and how we develop a greater understanding of other races.
So what she's trying to say is, basically, for those who are not sure, is that all she has to do is touch and, do the usual stick when you mate, and they pass all the traits from the parents to their daughters. Now, the Asari race is all female. I don't think there's any males in their society. If there is, please put in the comments. But as far as I'm aware, their entire race is female.
What happens to your partner after the union?
Every relationship is different. Some unions are a single encounter with both parents parting ways afterwards. Others can be more long-term. Sometimes an Asari and her partner will stay together for many decades.
Who's your father? That's the question.
Do you know who Matriarch Benezia chose as her partner?
She rarely spoke of her partner. Though I know my father, if you want to use that term, was another Asari.
I thought you always needed another species to serve as one of the parents.
Think about it, Shepard. If we were not able to mate with our own species, we would have died out long before we ever mastered spaceflight and left our homeworld. Union with our own kind is no longer common, not for the purposes of reproduction. Most Asari believe it weakens our species. Asari daughters inherit racial traits from the father species. If both parents are Asari, then nothing has been gained, or so conventional wisdom would hold. I am what is sometimes called a pureblood, though no Asari would ever be cruel enough to say the word to my face. It is a great insult among my people. It is possible Benezia's partner was embarrassed by their union. She may have been too ashamed to publicly acknowledge me as her offspring.
Right, so this gets interesting, folks. Apparently, if Asarians, union or join or mate, whatever you want to call it, they're classed as purebloods and is actually a stain on their people. Now, it's funny that because in some cultures, purebloods are classed as like the best of the best, but in her culture, it's classed as the worst. Go figure.
How could anyone abandon their own child?
I cannot answer that. This is all speculation on my part. It is possible she wanted to be part of my life, but something happened to her before she had the chance. Benezia never spoke of her partner. Whatever happened, it caused her too much pain to dwell on it. She raised me by herself, though that is not uncommon. Many Asari raise their children alone, particularly if the father species is short-lived. Often the partner will pass on long before the child reaches maturity.
Which is technically true because the Asarian race are slow aging.
You Asari live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner dies?
Few sapient species live as long as my kind. We have learned to take a philosophical approach to our unions. We do not focus on the inevitable loss of our partners. Instead, we enjoy the time we spend with them. And even after they're gone, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
I think that's it.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Right, so we learned quite a deal of Liara and her race. So basically, guys, the Saurians Well, you just heard what I said. Quite an unusual species. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Right, let's go downstairs and see the rest of the crew, see if they've got anything new. So yeah, we've learned quite a lot of her. Let's see what the others got to say for themselves. I know, I gotta go through all this, but you gotta, guys, if you want, the good things to happen for you, because there are some missions where, the more you learn about the characters, the better their scenarios will be later on. So you kind of have to work with them. So who should we talk to first? Well, you're the military officer, I don't want to talk to you. Ah, there you are, Garrus. Let's have a chat.
How are you? Why did you want to be a CSEC officer in the first place?
That's a good question. There were several reasons, I guess.
Oh, such as?
Like what?
Probably the same as most officers. I wanted to fight injustice, wanted to help people. I guess my father had something to do with it, too. He was CSEC, one of the best. I grew up hearing about his accomplishments or seeing his picture on the vids after a big arrest. He's taking my resignation pretty hard.
I can understand that.
That's tough. But you'd think he'd be impressed you're going after Saren.
My father's a CSEC man to the bone. Do things right or don't do them at all, he says. He thinks I'm being too rash, too impatient. He's worried I'll become just like Saren. He actually talked me out of becoming a Spectre when I was younger, for the same reasons.
He was going to be a Spectre? He would have been a badass Spectre, Garrus. He would have been the best Spectre.
You were asked to be a Spectre?
Well, I was targeted as a possible Spectre candidate. Me and about 1,000 other Turian military recruits. I could have received special training, but my father didn't like it. He despises the Spectres. He hates the idea of someone having unlimited power with no accountability. He wouldn't like you, Commander. No offense.
I suppose I can understand his concern.
You can. But Saren's not going to play by our rules, CSEC's rules. If you want to nail Saren, you need to send someone who isn't restricted by policies and procedures.
Just because you can break the rules doesn't mean you should. I don't need to stoop to Saren's level to stop him. And neither do you, Garrus.
Damn
I
right.
see what you mean, but I'll think about it. Thanks, Commander.
Well, now this gets interesting. Now we know that Garrus could have been a Spectre. But his father didn't want him to because he believed, with all that power and no accountability. That kind of makes sense. Okay, Rex, what do you got to offer?
So, we've got Saren on the run.
Oh, yeah.
Won't be long now. Saren's good, but I'm better.
Good. He's rotten. To the core.
Oh, yeah.
I could tell as soon as I met him.
Oh, you met him?
Why didn't you tell me this sooner?
I would have if I thought it was important.
I
Fair
think
enough.
I'd like to hear about it just the same.
This was a while ago. A bunch of mercs were bragging about a job out near the edges of the Terminus systems. They said it paid well and the boss was never around to ride them. They said he was looking for more men, too. So I checked it out.
I didn't know Saren was openly recruiting mercs.
It wasn't that open, and he only showed his face once. We'd been raiding ships in the area for months when we took out this massive cargo freighter. Our biggest haul yet. I was on board checking bodies for valuables, looking for some extra credits. That's when I saw him.
What was he doing?
What did Saren want with the ship?
I don't know what he wanted. He was just moving through the ship, watching. Couple of the mercs called him by name, but he never spoke to them. Never spoke to anyone. I had a really bad feeling about him, so I got the hell out. Didn't even wait to get paid.
Well done, Rex. You did the right thing because I think he would have killed everyone if you stayed there. So let's see what the cargo's
What kind
about.
of cargo was the freighter carrying? What was Saren after?
I don't know. All I saw on that ship was food and medical supplies. There were some basic weapons, but nothing big. If there was anything of value on that ship, I didn't see it. That's why I didn't mention it sooner.
Makes sense. And the ship?
Whose ship was it?
There was a Volus trading vessel. Big one. Lots of guards. But they were no match for us.
Why does the Volus always get picked on? I can never understand why they get picked on.
That's the only time you saw him?
Yeah. Didn't even know who he was. Still wouldn't if I hadn't joined up with you. But my instincts were right. Every other merc on that mission turned up dead within a week. Every damn one.
See what I mean, guys? The mercs must have been killed off by Saren, and he did the right thing and run. Genophage.
What can you tell me about the Genophage?
Ask the Solari. All I know, every Krogan is infected. Every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last... It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody
Yep.
can.
So long, Rex.